who won UFC number 8, taking on Amaury Biteти, another of the greats from Rio de Janeiro, and a late replacement for Marco Ruas. Here's the tail of the tape. Fry is 3 years older. Fry is 4 inches taller. Fry has a 25-pound advantage, and it is America against Brazil. Classic matchup. Both are grapplers. And the Predator, Don Fry, will be the first to make his way to the octagon. No, it's Amaury Biteti from Rio de Janeiro. First UFC, the reigning international jiu-jitsu champion. Trained by Osvaldo Alves. His interpreter and co-manager, Sergio Montero. Co-manager is Tom Huggins. He is from the Carlson Gracie School. He used to be his trainer. He fights and represents the Carlson Gracie Academy. His discipline, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Well, without a doubt, he's the classic jiu-jitsu artist, but he is more aggressive than the other Brazilian fighters, is what they came right out and said. Said he will strike with his hands and with his elbows. Obviously, he's going to be great on the ground.
A closer look right now at Amaury Biteti.
I am Amaury Biteti, jiu-jitsu fighter of the world. I'm here to win.
There's a good look at Biteti. More aggressive, he says, than some of the other Brazilians. Likes to punch, throw elbows, got a lot of ground technique. He is from Rio de Janeiro. And his opponent was simply awesome in his first appearance at the UFC. He ran the table in UFC 8. He's managed by the Beast Dan Severn, trained by Russ Harris and Steve Owen. His strength and conditioning coach is Becky Levy, the silver medalist in the World Games at the 1987 Women's Olympic Weightlifting Division. His name, the Predator, Don Fry. He wrestled at Arizona State, Oklahoma State, a former firefighter.
Don Fry considers himself a grappler, a wrestler, but you know, he's a former pro boxer and he knocked out several guys at the last UFC. He is a competitive wrestler, he's good at takedowns, and he will strike on the ground. In fact, he won 2 of his bouts that way.
Don the Predator Fry from Sierra Vista, Arizona.
I'm Don Fry, the returning Ultimate Fighting Champion. I'm returning tonight to retain my title. There can be only one.
He sees himself as a combination of Marco Ruas and Oleg Tiktarov, and there's his opponent. Very calm and comfortable at the interviews we had with him yesterday, Amaury Biteti. Let's go to the G-Man, Rich Goins, for the formal introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the competitors for our 5th bout of the evening. A 27-year-old fighter, he holds a 2nd-degree black belt in the art of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu with black belts in Judo and Muay Thai. 5'9", 185 pounds, Brazilian and reigning international Jiu-Jitsu champion with a record of 150-1. From Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, Amaury Biteti. And his opponent, fighting out of Sierra Vista, Arizona, a 2nd-degree black belt in the art of Judo, former pro boxer and Greco-Roman wrestler, 30 years old, 6'1", 210 pounds, undefeated in the octagon. The reigning Ultimate Fighting Champion, the Predator, Don Fry.
Call him Magnum UFC.
Okay, Bruce, I love this matchup. We have an expert ground attack specialist in Biteti. Fry, a great grappler. So how is Biteti going to get him on the ground? And if he does, it's probably going to be, I think, with Biteti on his back. On the feet, Biteti says he can punch. We already know Fry can.
Here we go, baby. Are you ready?
Well, I see.
Well, let's get it on.
The ground attack would probably be Bitetti.
Oh, they lock up pretty good.
Well, he's definitely more aggressive than the other Brazilians we've seen.
He said he would be. Elbow by Fry. Bitetti hangs in there. Bitetti has him up against the back of the octagon.
Let's go.
Look at this grapple on their feet. A knee by Fry.
Boy, this is a lot of energy right here by both these guys.
Who's going to go down? When and who will be on top when they do go down?
Bitetti wants to get down. Fry doing a great job of staying up on the feet. He'll let Bitetti push him right into that fence and use the fence to keep himself upright. And you're not going to take down a wrestler with a double leg from that distance.
No. Fry's got the wrestling experience.
Go, open hand.
Bitetti and Fry locked up against the fence. Trying to move the battle away from it now. Fry lands the right hand. Uppercut by Fry.
And there's not a lot of technique when they're inside like this.
It's a little too close, but you know, he could be using knees right now. He could be taking out this Brazilian with a knee.
Classic wizard position. Fry doing a good job, but he keeps giving up underhooks.
I'm telling you, where he's at right now, that body is wide open.
Some good punches by
He's
Fry.
stunned. He's stunned. Bitetti is stunned.
Fry might be the best puncher we've seen in this competition.
He had him stunned, but that only lasts about a second and a half. He's going to recuperate fast here.
Elbows, I think. There you go. Here it's classic grappling, but he doesn't want to fall into the guard. Otherwise, we're going to have one of these slowdowns, and that's going to let Bitetti.
I don't think Fry is going to slow down. I think he'll punch from this position.
Well, we'll find out how good Bitetti is in the guard now. Will Fry have room to go ahead and strike?
The crowd chanting USA as Fry tries to unload a punch. A kick by Bitetti from the ground. Bitetti continues to move, continue to look for a better position as they get back to their feet.
Open up.
Hey, I'll tell you, both these guys have spent some energy.
The knee to the body is so wide open here. If he threw one, that would be it.
Bitetti got landed with a right from Fry. Another right by Fry.
These are trading.
Oh, Bitetti in trouble.
Oh, there's a knee. Another one. He's wide open for the knees. Bitetti is wide open for the knees. He could be going to the groin, to the leg, to the body. He's wide open.
Boy, Fry is just dominating.
He has just pummeled him.
Let's go. Come on.
Bitetti is very bloody.
Fry doesn't want to get down there wrapped up in a guard.
A knee to the face by Fry.
He should be using those knees and even the elbows from this position. Not the hands, the elbows.
The Brazilians are great at relaxing. It's hard to choke them just by smothering.
I wouldn't go for a choke. You can beat this guy with a strike.
Here it comes.
There it is.
Oh my gosh.
That's all he needs, another one.
McCarthy is close by. Fry continues to pummel with elbows.
Believe me, those little punches by Bitetti are not having the same kind of effect as that forearm coming down.
Way to work.
He's in the guard now. He's got to be careful.
This is a tremendous battle.
And I don't mean to discredit Fry. It's just that that's the strength of the Brazilian is right here. This is where the Brazilian is most dangerous. Fry, I'm sure, has trained in this position.
But those elbows, I mean...
He's taking some punishment.
Without a doubt, Fry is in control here.
A lot of time to go, too. How much punishment can Bitetti absorb?
Big John McCarthy is out there. He's right on top of it. And you can see that
it takes a lot of energy to hold on to Fry like this. And those elbows just coming down on his head. All he needs to do is get about 4 inches away and come down with an elbow to do damage. You can't do that with a punch, but you can do it with an elbow.
Well, action has slowed once they get to this guard position. It's much more difficult to have any real effective strikes unless you can mount, and I doubt Fry is going to be able to pass the guard.
Still 7+ minutes left in regulation, and it looked for a while there that
this is how you get somebody to let go. He's going to let go. He's not going to be able to continually take these body shots in the same spot. There he goes. You see, he's letting go of Fry.
Fry spends a lot of energy here, staying up on the toes, driving forward. He was doing so well on his feet, you got to question his tactic. Maybe he can't get out of it.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to be here. I think he's here because this is where they've ended up. If he'd stayed on his feet another 10 seconds, he probably would have knocked Bittechi out.
It seemed that Bitetti was in dire trouble there.
Yeah, he was reeling and rocking.
But this allows him to regain his poise.
There goes the mouthpiece.
Let's go, work it.
Not sure you can call this rest, but certainly the level of activity has dropped off substantially. But they're still working hard.
Fry still hammering away at the body.
I saw some open hand strikes there by Fry. He may have hurt his hand.
Get it up, get it up, get it up, get it
And
up.
a restart by John McCarthy.
Well, it could be a good break for Fry in the fact that on their feet, he's superior.
Cut. They're going to check the cut.
Bitechi's cut pretty good. He didn't even know which way was his corner there.
No, he's pretty much going in and out of it at this point.
This has by far been the biggest, fastest pace we have had. We've had more action in these few minutes than many fights have through their duration once the guards implode.
These guys are great. This has been a tremendous battle so far.
Evenly matched, about the same size. One's favored on the ground, the other's a little bit better striker on the feet. So far, Fry. With that grappling defense, that really helped keep the touch off.
Absolutely. Just basic wrestling experience.
Bitechi is a warrior.
Quarter now, let's go. You ready? You ready?
How much
Let's
does
get it going.
Bitechi have left? Because Fry looks much fresher. 6 minutes to go in regulation.
Fry's back on top.
Fry looks much fresher.
He might be able to pass, but see, if he leaves his arms behind here, this is where it gets dangerous.
Big elbow by
back
Fry.
of the head. And Bitechi didn't like that. He got right out of that.
Bitechi is showing the will of the great Brazilian.
But those elbows from Fry, he cannot take those all night long. Talk about cuts, he's going to have them.
The mouthpiece is out to breathe, too, so he is exhausted. I'm sure Fry is feeling it. There's been so much action, and this isn't a discredit to them. They're in great shape. Just the level of the pace has been so high.
There was no feeling out period.
No, not at all. This was straight out.
Oh, there's the elbow again. There's the elbow.
Oh, man, those elbows are brutal. Oh, you can feel it.
Oh, they're only inches away from him.
Short.
It's what I've said all along. Those short elbows, even against a grappler, all you need is 3 inches.
Now you can see Fry taking a blow here. He's pulled himself back, kept his balance.
I think he was just taking a little breather.
Oh, yeah, you can't throw punches constantly. It's sprinting. You just can't do that. I don't think he's going to be able to submit with that key lock. Maybe he's using this to think Bitechi, or set Bitechi up with coming back with another hammer strike.
All he needs is a few inches to do damage with those elbows.
Oh.
They're going to stop this fight soon. The cuts.
Come on, let's go, Don, doing good.
You know, I heard they were talking about the fists, that they didn't like the punching, but the hands do the least of damage when it comes to strikes.
Good strike, let's go.
Fry continuing to dominate.
At this point, he could be using those elbows to the body. There he goes.
Let's go.
You would think if you caught one
get it up,
on a rib bone, boy, it would be difficult to breathe.
Let's go. Get it up.
And McCarthy again looking for a restart.
He's almost got to
I don't
pick up.
think he's got any energy.
Bitechi is looking exhausted here.
No, he's taking a beating every time. It's the same story. He gets on the bottom, he takes the elbows.
I don't know how much more Dr. Richard Istrigo will allow.
How you feel? You want to go? What is he saying? More?
More. He's saying more.
Look at him.
He's got the will of a fighter.
He looks hurt.
He's saying more, but I'm not sure if he's still realizing where he's even standing at this point.
I think his heart is
look at him.
incredible.
He's leaning forward even in that stance there.
He's holding on to the doctors.
He's very, very fatigued.
He's taking a tremendous beating tonight.
I don't think a fighter should be able to say sometimes that he wants to continue, because sometimes he just doesn't know, but They're letting him go.
I think the doctor said if he's down and takes any more, he's going to stop it. That was his parting words to McCarthy. He looked at him and said if he's down, he wants him out.
See, he can't even take a good
knees to the top of the head.
Again.
And you see the disadvantage of wearing pads. They can be grabbed. He's grabbing onto Frai's shorts as well as his knee sleeve.
3:30 left in this one-sided assault by Fry.
He's grabbing, but these are survival tactics.
And that collapse was one of fatigue. You just saw it slowly sink down. Bitetti hanging on here, but I think this is all Fry.
He's a tough guy, but it's just how much of a beating. There it goes to his back, the elbows, to the body. Same spot.
Three-minute challenge.
He's going for a knee. He's going for a knee again. And there's nothing Bitetti can do to stop that knee.
Now that knee is just finding the head every time.
There's nothing he can do.
This domination by Fry here is
total domination.
Total.
On the feet, on the ground, strikes.
I think that should do it.
I think that's it.
That should do it.
Good job, Doc.
That's it. That's about all the beating he could take for one night.
McCarthy did a good thing here.
Matches in UFC history. The winner from Sierra Vista, Arizona, Don Fry.
What a war this one was. 9:30 of punishment.
That Bitetti was a tough guy.
Oh, what a heart he's got.
He just didn't have enough to stop Don Fry.
Tremendous medal by Bitetti. Tremendous offensive showing by Fry.
Well, that definitely proves that the UFC that Fry won was no fluke. He's here to stay.
I think that he's got the most lethal ability.
He can strike on that ground. He can strike with his hands, with his elbows, with his knees. He can grapple.
Wow. Was that explosive?